Good morning. Thank you for joining us, Gordon. Today we have Gordon Coleman with GCJ Productions. He is the owner, director of the business. We know Gordon as the tech guy. So Gordon, tell us a little bit about yourself and about your business.
Awesome. Well, thank you for interviewing me today. I do appreciate it. So my name is Gordon Coleman Jr. I'm owner of GCJ Productions. That is what the GC and the J is my initials. Is a web design and online marketing company. What we do is we create websites for businesses and individuals. We also help manage websites as well. And the other offerings that we offer is with online marketing, with social media, Google advertising, and pretty much anything that can help a business generate more income from online revenue, those avenues and so forth. So yeah, so essentially that's us as a whole nut. I don't know why I'm acting like I'm nervous now doing this. I think it's because you're smiling so hard.
I'm sorry. Look.
Yeah. It's like, oh my gosh. Let me try that one more time.
No, but the one thing, so for us who know you and have used you, and of course for me, Gordon you're one of the first persons that I was introduced to when I first started at Rolesville Chamber of Commerce. And it was talk to Gordon. Gordon can help us, he can help you do a lot of things. So one of the things that I do want to talk about when we look at kind of what your business is, kind of how you work and things like that, being in web and some other things, of course, during the COVID era, it works in a sense is really great for you because you are already kind of remote. The thing that people don't understand is they don't have to live in the Rolesville area. They can live anywhere and still work with your company, which is what I love about your job and what you do. So for us, you are the company that actually came in and redid our website. You gave us a revision. You gave us a timeline. You said, listen, this is what I need from you. This is what you produced to me. This is the timeline. This is the date. And I will tell you, in working with a lot of companies, to have someone who is timeline driven and meets the timeline is, I don't want to say it's rare in some cases, but a lot of times you will not only meet the timeline, but you will finish before the timeline. And so I appreciate that about your business, but tell us a little bit, Gordon, because you have a great story about your business and kind of how you got started. Not just about, hey, I'm the web guy, I'll come in, and it's not just web, you market and, you do the SEO and all that other things, but tell people kind of the story of how you got started.
Yeah, sure. And thank you for the kind words. So for me, it all started when I was a child, actually. I've been an artist pretty much since I was born, doing the crayons and the whole thingamajig. But for me, as a child, I always wanted to get my art around the world. And I actually did come up with GCJ Productions as a name when I was in elementary school. So sometimes when I do artwork, I would actually put that little moniker up there, GCJ Productions. So when I was in high school, I actually wanted to do art, and a lot of wisdom around from my parents and teachers was that there are challenges in the field of art. We recommend that you go to computer design, and I'm so glad they did. It was definitely a good decision. Went to school to do that. The challenge I did face after graduation was in 2008, that's when the job market was crashing, and a lot of digital design jobs was becoming very, canceled and whatnot. So for me, I couldn't get a job in film, but I still did work on the side. I still had that passion for it and wanted to use my degree in something. So for years, I actually just worked a full-time job and just did the design work on the side. Well, in 2012, I actually lost my job to downsizing, my full-time job. And that really hit me hard. That really made me upset. And I wanted to take control of my life. I knew being a business owner was going to be challenging, but at least I could make a lot of those decisions in that phase. And then since I was already doing digital design work, I was like, you know what, let's combine the two. Especially in 2012, not everybody was online, especially as a business. So a lot of wisdom, once again, from people around me that was like, hey, you know what, this is the future. Websites are going to be the thing. And I'm so glad that happened. And that's what happened was one day, a few days after losing my job, I just walked into Wells Fargo and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I just want to start a business. And thankfully they helped me out, and that's how GCJ Productions began.
Wow.
And then the other big piece I always like to point out was that was just the start. It was definitely a challenging start, and that's how I can relate to other businesses that start out. It's not always easy. Not everyone just makes it right from the beginning. It took it a few years. But for me, what was great was someone invited me to events at the Chambers of Commerce, especially Wake Forest and Rolesville. And that's why I have such a heart for Rolesville. Uh, you know, I've made such great friends from the beginning. People just welcomed me in. They didn't treat me like I was just some new guy. They brought, the Rolesville Chamber brought me in as family day one. And I loved it. I'm over here just like with some flimsy business cards, like, I don't know what I'm doing, but this is what people told me to do. And a lot of people, you know, they educated me, mentored me, and it definitely was a big part of making my business to the point that I could do it full time. So GCJ Productions definitely has different chapters, and those are two of some of the biggest chapters from not just when getting started, but to becoming to what it is today was definitely started once I started getting involved with the Chamber of Commerce.
Well, Gordon, I know that one of the things when we look at a business, so when we look at entrepreneurs and what they want to do and how they start, you said something very key. A lot of times is, I don't know exactly how I'm going to make it happen. And you walked into Wells Fargo. And I will tell you, that's very rare when you hear someone say, hey, I walked into a bank, a big bank like Wells Fargo, and, they were able to help me. So kudos to them. I mean, it's almost like a plug for Wells Fargo. But the one thing that I do think is important that you mentioned, a lot of times when people start businesses, some don't think about the Chamber of Commerce. One, because they don't know what a Chamber of Commerce is. They think, oh, it's something way outside of my budget or way outside of, they're a little intimidated when they think about it. It's something about that word commerce that just kind of throws some people off sometimes. But I think the one thing that you mentioned, which is really great, and I can also attest to that too, is with the Rolesville Chamber of Commerce, it is like family. I mean, you walk in and everyone welcomes you, and it kind of rolls over into the community when people talk about why they moved to Rolesville, or, why they decided, hey, I want my kids to go to school there, or play sports there, or something of that nature, is because of that family atmosphere. And so when we look at a business such as yours, and you talk about kind of, this is what I did, what are some of the things that if you could do differently when you started your business, what are some things that you think you would have done differently as opposed, of course, now we can't change it, but
Right.
it could be something that someone's watching may be able to look at and say, hey, I listened to him. I think I want to do the same thing. This could potentially help me. So what is something you would have done differently during that time?
Yeah, I mean, I tell you, one of the biggest things is actually, if I was to get into the Chamber of Commerce, Roseville Chamber of Commerce early on, like right when I first started, that would have been an even bigger game changer, honestly. And I'm not just saying that just because we're doing the interview. It's because that's why I point out that, like, for my company, the two biggest starts, the first one was just paper. In 2012, it was just paper. Even with Wells Fargo, they just helped me legally get it started. That was it. They didn't help me nowhere past that. Roseville Chamber of Commerce, that's where I had a community. I actually had one company, which I will definitely give them a shout out. It was GeekRx, that was in Rolesville, computer repair. They actually let me work actually inside of the back of their office, and I was able to have meetings. And that's people I met through the Chamber of Commerce. Is examples like that where you get into a community of other business owners and you understand where each are coming from. You're able to help each other out. You might even barter out in some situations where it actually really benefits you both. You're able to give warm referrals to each other because someone can speak highly of you that they know you firsthand. And that's the kind of stuff that even just 2 years of a difference for me would have definitely made a huge difference in my life and career. I'm still thankful for everything that happened. So it's not that I would wish it to be different, but if I did even just those 2 years of difference, I definitely feel like I would be even further ahead than where I'm at now. And that's a recommendation I always like to tell any business getting started. And definitely one plug I definitely put up here is that I definitely feel like it's a misunderstanding sometimes that if you go to these chamber events, it's like mandatory, you have to be a member day one. No, it's not like that. If in most cases, and especially for me, you see so much benefits going on and you see such greatness, you just want to be a member. That's the way I always liked it when it came to the Chamber of Commerce, is that it wasn't that the Chamber of Commerce had to sell you on the membership. You would just go to these events and you're like, oh, how do I get into this circle? How do I get to have these opportunities that you all get to be involved in? And yeah. So.
Well, Gordon, I think the key part that you mentioned are referrals. not only referrals, but also attending. So you have sometimes when a business will come and, you know, they'll work with another company. So let's say I'm a web company and I work with, or we are the same company. One of the things that people don't understand, which is interesting when we look at a company such as yours and some others, is that you all actually work together. And it's not even so much as working together, it's a referral. So the way it works of what I see in the chamber is that if you have a part of your business that you said, hey, I do this portion, and I may end up talking to a company that, you know, let's just say I meet someone and they want to, hey, I'm looking for some furniture, or, you know, I'm, you know, doing whatever. And they just mentioned, and you said, hey, there's a great place in Rolesville called Rolesville Furniture. You know, that's just an example of kind of how people, I don't think, realize how the network works and how it works for your business. But the one thing that I love about this is that you actually, when you meet with people and you talk to them, you give them a realistic expectation of what their website will look like, what their business is, and you also will give them your professional advice on maybe you don't want to look at adding this to your site. Maybe you should look at doing this to your site. And I think sometimes when people look at companies and wanting to come in, I know I've said this to you for forever, how much I admire your work and exactly what you do for businesses. But the one thing that I would love for you to talk about is kind of what's next for GCJ Productions. Like what's next? Because I've seen you evolve in the 3 years that I've been at the chamber, and I've seen you change and I've seen you grow. I've seen your business expand. So what's next for you?
Well, I'm excited to say that I actually did have to hire someone this year to help me. So this is actually bringing on a bigger future for us as a whole team, because now I myself, I can do more of the bigger projects, and I can let a lot of the smaller and, you know, more just data entry and stuff like that, I can actually finally hand that off to someone. So for us, what's great is, especially thanks to technology continuing to grow where we can do telecommunication and so forth, companies around the world feel more comfortable doing business with someone such as myself, because you can look online and you can see the great reviews, you can see the portfolio, you can see that you have a team that can back up what's going on. So the future is doing bigger projects. What's great too is, and this is definitely important to point out, we're not leaving the smaller projects. Small businesses that needs the 1-page, 3-page websites, we're still going to give them that attention to detail that they deserve. But what helps us also is that we can also still take on the large websites that are 1,000+ multi-million-dollar companies. We can build websites for them as well and still give both ends of the spectrum the same quality of service. So for me, I'm pretty excited. We've already been working a lot of those pieces already. And yeah, so I'm excited about the future as well for that.
Well, I know even for those that don't know you, there are two other questions that I have, and I'll just throw those. You can answer whichever one you want. Is what sets you apart from, you know, your competitors? And then the other thing is what is it something that people don't know about Gordon Coleman and what makes your business great? So you can decide how you want to answer those two. But I think that those are two key parts. I say this in almost every person I meet with, is the reason I like to do these is because I want people to see the person behind the business, so that when they look at doing business with your company, they know this is the person, this is the reason, this is the passion. And that's what I know from working with you. And so it's an easy sell for me to refer you to someone. But for those who may not know, those are kind of my two last questions for you.
Sure, excellent. Well, I'll definitely go ahead and cover over what makes us different. So something I pride myself in is two key pieces. The first one is definitely the actual professional piece, which is the customized marketing. This is where we will actually learn your business and we'll customize your solution to help you exactly with what you need. So those are a lot of the earlier questions I'll ask when helping out a client, interviewing them, meeting them for the first time, going through consultation. Some of the biggest questions that I ask is, what is your goal? Not everyone has the same one. Everyone thinks just make money. It's always more difficult than just saying, or at least more complicated, I should say, than just saying make more money. The way let's say, clothing store makes money is going to be different than a plumbing company. People are not going to be walking into a plumbing store asking, hey, can you fix my, pipes that just bursted this morning that's squirting with water everywhere, and say, whereas for clothing, you can go online and see like, oh, I like these baby clothes, buy and see it in a week. So everybody has a different solution. And that's actually one of the things that I always liked, even with clients' responses, because one of the biggest complaints I've heard from clients working with other companies is people will sometimes either just offer just a one package solution before ever even hearing about what their story is, or if people just say the price before even asking what's going on. Those are usually clear signs that you're probably going down a bad path already. Social media is another great example where not every company can benefit from a form of social media, yes. However, we have to look at return of investment. If a company invests a certain amount of dollars, it's a good chance one can perform better in, let's say, Instagram or Facebook better than the other. And that's the kind of stuff that we do. We'll do the research. We have enough experience that we can offer that kind of advice. And that's a great thing that our clients have enjoyed about that. Now, as in for something that people don't know about us, let's see, speaking about that, let me think of, there's so much, but behind the scenes, I think one of the things is um, the this actually comes up, especially with this year, because it has been a bit of a trying year. Something like, so what I'm about to speak on about is the passion behind the design work. So the design work is typically done by me for the most part, especially on the visuals. It is all coming from a personal passion of art. Take pride that no website looks the same. I've built over 300 websites at this point in my life, and I can honestly say they don't look alike. Even if some businesses go out of business, I don't even go back and try to mimic that design. That's one thing I pride myself on. And speaking more directly on that, that is how I bring that passion of art since I was a child. That's how I bring that to the forefront. So what's great is, and something I do like to tell clients, is that I'm going to take pride in whatever we create for you, because I want that to reflect us. And honestly, that is what's helped us overall become successful, is that you can see the pride in the work done for websites, and that's what sells for us. I honestly don't have to advertise because of referrals and people like you who are happy with the work they have, and they just show it. And that's definitely something that makes me very happy at heart, is that people can just show a website and say, hey, look how good this looks. And people just scroll down and say, oh, that's the guy who made it, or the company that's made it, and they'll contact us from there.
So Gordon, what I just heard from you is, if someone decides that they want to work with you and use your business at GCJ Productions, is you provide them with a digital fingerprint. That's what it sounds like to me, because no two fingerprints are the same, or at least they shouldn't be. I don't know, technology changes. Yeah. But basically that's what I get from listening to you. And what is, for me, is one of the things that I will tell someone when they look at working with your company is GCJ Productions will provide you with a digital fingerprint. So you won't be able to go out there and look at a website and just say, hey, that's my website with a different name and a logo on it. And I think that that's something that's important, and what I appreciate about you and what you do. And not only that, when you talk about the creative side, is that for working with the chamber and working with Rachel, I always come up with these crazy ideas, and I always come up with these things and say, hey, do you think we can make it work? Yeah. And that's one thing I appreciate about your creative art side. And also listening to the customer too, is that you will tell me, Rachel, no, we can't do this, but we can do that. And I appreciate that about you. And I've said that to you. I've said it over and over again, because it's really important, particularly in a business, when you are a small business, when you are a larger business, and you're working with a vendor and trying to get something done, and knowing that you can trust that vendor to deliver the product, and not deliver just something because they want to get a paycheck, but actually deliver a quality product. That is what you get from GCJ Productions. So I know for me, I'm happy with the work that you do, and I always refer you any opportunity I get, because I know what you're going to deliver, and it helps me when I refer good people to good people, because it keeps our network strong. Well, Gordon, thank you so much for chatting with me today. I really appreciate it. I hope that people truly get to see the genius behind the business, because how you've grown over the past couple of years has just been amazing and phenomenal. And, you know, we talk about it so often, and we talk about kind of, you know, I always ask people like, what's next? You know, what are some things we can do to change and grow? And I'm glad to have been a part of your journey. I'm glad the Rolesville Chamber can be a part of that. And I know that whatever it is that you deliver next is going to be top notch. So thank you so much for joining me. We truly appreciate it. And we look forward to what's coming next from you and your creative team over there at GCJ Productions. Thanks, Gordon.
Well, thank you as well. Appreciate your time this morning.
Absolutely.